grew up with Wawa, and I just think the food's better.
Sheets is the best thing to grace our planet.
I'd have to go with Sheets.
Definitely rough.
Injusta, no J-Naps.
Hydron, probably.
Probably T-Corral.
Either Skippy or T-Corral.
Croc.
Pokemon Red for the Game Boy Color.
Webkins. That was the first video game I've ever played, Webkins.
League of Legends. Sadly, that was the first game. That's one of the only games that I played. I just enjoy it so much.
Mario Kart 7 on the DS.
No bully.
Probably PGE.
Some of the top now.
Definitely PGE.
Angry Ginge or somebody in that realm, like Speed and stuff, they're pretty funny.
Probably my dorm.
Definitely Birchie.
I think the pond is one of the greatest schools you can play.
The library, it just got renovated and much nicer, much quieter.
Definitely my room.
Probably the IT area in the library.
Yes, I love snowboarding. I've been snowboarding my whole life.
Are you a snow person?
Not really, no. I don't really like the cold a whole lot.
I prefer summer.
Only for playing Snow Day in Rocket League.
No.
Yeah, I love snow.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm from upstate New York.
I love snow. I think it's so fun.
I think I would play, I don't even know. That's the only game that I play.
Probably competitive TF2.
Probably Rivals, yeah.
I'd probably just play Trackmania.
I think the culture at Smash is insane. I would love to play Smash.
I'd probably play Madden.
Gotta be Mount Aloysius College. You can't beat them.
Mounties, obviously.
I'm Aloysius, of course.
Oh my gosh, this isn't the question. Mountie Esports.
I mean, gotta be the Mounties, right? The culture here is unmatched.
The Mount Aloysius esports program.
Obviously, Mount Aloysius.
You're looking at it.
Gotta be the Mounties Esports.
Cool.
You have more important things in life to think about than your internet. At BreezeLine, we propel life forward with home internet so reliable, you don't have to think about it. With a team that goes above and beyond. Fiber-powered speeds up to 1 gig. And 99.9% reliability at any hour. In any room. You won't have to think about your internet again. Go to breezeline.com for internet that propels life forward.
Here at Mount Esports, we take it to the next level. Our players have the ability to travel, compete,
and even participate on the caffeine committee. Check out the Insta to see what's new with Mountain Esports today.
At the Mount, things are, well, elevated. And it's not just because we're on a mountain. The experience at a small college like Mount Aloysius is actually personal. The faculty and staff know my goals. It's a level of support you won't find at other colleges. And the Mount backs it up with career-focused partnerships and majors. As soon as I visited, it just felt like home. That's what makes this place different. Makes college elevated. Mount Aloysius College.
We asked 10 Mountie Esports players 10 specific questions, and these are their answers.
Watermelon Ice from Gamer Subs.
Ghost Energy, either the cans or the pre-workout, either work.
So I used to be a Ghost favorite, but now
Too long. White Monster for sure.
Monster, the Fantasy Red Ruby.
The Mountie GG Gamer Subs that they provide. Taco Bell, absolutely.
McDonald's is so much better.
Welcome back to PIEA, and a fun game we got here for you today. My name going to be Spectrum, my first time here in a little while. Over there, Cherry J, I'm sure you know, and obviously we're going to be streaming some Overwatch today. Elizabethtown area versus Bishop Guilfoyle. Looking forward to this one.
I mean, I'm gonna get it right on for you, Spectron. We got a big game, all right? Elizabethtown area, former Division 2 champions of last year. Bishop Guilfoyle. I don't really remember. I think they did pretty good. I recognize the name, if that counts for anything. But we'll see whether or not these two teams make any adjustments from last year. I know the Elizabethtown tank from last year graduated, no longer going to be in the lineup. I believe their DPS players saying the same. Supports May as well. Beyond that, not totally sure what else there is to really say about these teams. I know Bishop Guilfoyle has done some performances. I know that they haven't played a current game in the PIA, at least not one that has been recorded. Some that is going to be due to President's Day last week, of course, going to be causing the majority of teams to reschedule and find a different day for their game. Elizabethtown area, not going to be the case. They played their game last week, and they played the one before that. Went up 2-0, so they're certainly looking poised to be able to find another win. They have that momentum carrying their sails, and I'd imagine that that's something they're going to look to kind of push towards. As a third win would certainly look nice on their record. I believe there's 5 games this season per team. Either way, that's going to be looking like they should have at least a decent start to the season, as we are going to be in that fall split of the 2025-2026 school year, Spectron. So we're going to get into...
Okay, well, we've lost my co-cast, as you can maybe tell, but she is absolutely right. You'd love to get, your season off to such a strong start. Elizabethtown area being 4-0 right now is a lovely place to be, and not having yet dropped a map. See if this is going to be their first chance to do so, as it seems like Oasis is going to be the first map. We'll be heading in just a second once we do load in. And obviously, though it's probably been stated before, the fact that we are now in Season 19, having some fresh balance changes, maybe does upset the balance of power somewhat here in the PIEA. Not too meta comps being played so far, though. People definitely heading towards comfortability, as we see very often here at the kind of high school level. People, at the end of the day, doesn't matter if you're playing what's technically optimal if you're not, the best at it. So playing something that is just comfortable for them. Cinnamon Bun very likely going to be putting the blue beam, that damage boost, onto Fiery and hoping the cast can absolutely clean up Bishop Guilfoyle. In theory, should try and play as slow as possible, because then Pet Gum Guy, Destruct, Pasty, all of that can find value with their shooting.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if you couldn't hear me or what, but I am back now here in the lobby. We're going to be seeing Elizabethtown. I lied, apparently. I thought their tank graduated. Turns out that's not the case. Bishop Guilfoyle going to be going in for an aggressive stance on the Ramatra. Looking like Plant Shatter 9. Going to get a bit of damage in, but Bingling finding the first. Fiery's down for the count, as they are going to be able to find that first pick. There's going to be the Resurrection possibly in play, but not for long, as Pasty doing a mighty bit of damage already off the bat. Going to be going for a bit of verticality, as we will be seeing Pasty challenging the high ground, but Genji up there going to be really putting in the work as Wildlife. Definitely one of the MVPs on this roster. Going to be going for a bit of aggression. The deflect comes out, going to be forced away. Pasty trying to find them, but Wildlife concedes their life as they drop off the side of the map. Coming on in, we see the flashbang, and at this point, it seems like Elizabethtown is cleaning up this fight.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, Bishop Guilfoyle already the ones in control, and they're going to be able to close out the battle, as well as Bingling with a triple kill, and all sorts of Wildlife super aggro on the high ground, doing a lot of good work, honestly, making sure Bishop Guilfoyle can't take the high angle. But unfortunately, when they get low and Cinnamon Bun drops off, they unfortunately aren't able to get any more health and, you know, reset themselves. That's a 5v4. Bishop Guilfoyle can easily convert, pull out early. Bishop Guilfoyle starting this next fight off strong.
I'm already looking like this Bishop Guilfoyle team is going to be one of the stronger rosters within the PIEA this year. As Pasty certainly is one of the players I'm looking towards as a strong hit scan. We're already going to be seeing the 4-5 coming out from this Orisa, as Plant Shatter 9 going to be trying to take the bulk of the damage, but Fiery with a double kill on the high ground, making a triple. Really putting in the work, and they're going to go for more. Not being overzealous just yet, as they push their opponents right on into the firing squad, as Wildlife picks up another, and a double kill for Wildlife will secure them this team fight.
50% means that Bishop Guilfoyle halfway to closing out Gardens here, but Elizabethtown able to take their momentum and make it their own. Strong ultimates as well for the defenders. The Bishop Guilfoyle got some fantastic tools as well. The damage boosted Dragon Blade, for example, combined with a Terror Surge, could be absolutely destructive.
The velocity that the team is traveling with. Bishop Guilfoyle, they've lost a little bit of that momentum as they were able to pick up 50% at the start, seeming as if this is going to be a little bit more difficult. We already see the attack visor activated instantly. Annihilation is well coming into play, but as of now, Wildlife popping in with the blade instantly destroyed, as Pasty's going to be able to put them to work. Right now, it's just Elizabethtown taking this point and unfortunately going to lose it.
Yeah, seems like it. There are still remaining members, but with the dropout from Cinnamon Bun, it might be a weak attempt. We stand in the Terror Surge, and Plant Shatter explodes 3. Only 2 remaining members. The Fusion Driver should be good enough to remove 98. Instead, it's Fiery who takes care of him, but I mean, that fight was lost, right? But Elizabethtown, off the back of Plant Shatter, able to get it right back in their favor. They're going to be taking control of the lead momentarily.
And they're also able to find the stagger onto Bingling, so Bishop Guilfoyle gonna have to bide their time a little bit longer. You really got to bring that down to the overzealousness possibly from Bishop Guilfoyle, not dealing with Plant Shatter 9, who invested the Terror Surge into the engagement, was able to find 3 kills, and just didn't get punished for it whatsoever.
Indeed. Well, coming through so far, Bishop Guilfoyle taking a lot of damage. Most of that is going to be coming from Fiery. That barrage could be brutal. Wildlife, though, the opening kill from the Venture. 80% coming closer and closer to last fight territory. There's a time to make a push, and it is fast approaching for Bishop Guilfoyle. This Orbital Ray, I think, has to be the opener, but it's Fiery looking for the engage. In deep, barrage popped, damage in, and a double kill found.
Oh, Fiery putting in the work, finding a double kill. Gonna be Plant Shatter 9 to take another elimination, and that might just do it. Bishop Guilfoyle on the brink of the round, as they are going to be finding their loss, as Elizabethtown will take the first point.
Indeed. It was pretty competitive, though. Bishop Guilfoyle able to take the fight to their opponents multiple times. Unfortunately, that Terror Surge fight really was everything, right? I mean, a triple kill was basically 1v5. I mean, that's essentially unheard of, right? So I think it kind of took all the wind out of Bishop Guilfoyle's sails, gave it back to Elizabethtown, and allowed them to close things out, because without it, Bishop Guilfoyle would have at least been able to make it to, you know, the 99-ish mark. So, interesting heading forward. This point is probably going to be slightly better Bishop Guilfoyle, but see if it matters or not, as the momentum now not on their side.
Keeping the same composition, running with this double hit scan. Going to be putting Cinnabon in probably World of Hurt as well as Fiery. Running the Sojourn and Soldier definitely is that double-edged sword, but we will see whether or not they'll be able to inevitably find success with it, as we are going to be seeing the side of Elizabethtown going for the high ground to start us off. Destruct dropped to 90 HP. The support line of Bishop Guilfoyle is dropping like flies, as both players are very low on HP, but Destruct and Pasty are actually going to be the first ones to be found out. We see Bingling going to be able to find the trade, shutting down Fiery, but Wildlife going to exchange a kill in return, as right now it's going to be Elizabethtown to just mow down their opponents.
Yeah, seems like it. There's a Guilfoyle going to be very quickly dispatched, and I think it's just this overpeak that comes through from the DPS. When you're fighting against a Pharah, it really matters quite a lot whether she's looking at you or not, because a single damage boosted rocket just ruins your day, right? It's like 156 damage, more than half your HP. It's not great. So if you end up eating two of them, you're insta dead. You can't actually get the pressure through that you want. Speaking of pressure, it's Wildlife looking for some now.
A Wildlife getting way too aggressive in the backlines. Both cooldowns dropped into play, as they are going to somehow stay alive for at least a little bit longer. Cinnamon Bun's going to fall down. Pasty able to pick up that kill, going to be looking nice. Wildlife trying to exchange, but right now Destruct is just spraying them down, able to finally make their way out. Elizabethtown conceding back towards the point. We do see the Fortify in play, as they are going to be taking the bulk of this damage. Botshot 9 having to concede a little bit of aggression, but the barrage instantly neutralizes. Pasty finds the kill, bringing it to a 3v5.
It does. Terra Surge also turning Short Brother active. The Terra Surge still a possibility, but might not be needed. Annihilation from Bishop Guilfoyle, maybe throwing some battles after good, but they are somewhat turning it. 2 kills already found. This Terra Surge, again, humongous, a double kill. And drops the Plant Shooter into essentially a 1v1 with Bingling that they're going to be more than happy to collect. 70% now on the board, and we're getting closer and closer to Elizabethtown taking this map even in 2-0 fashion. If Gardens was competitive and here on University, it's been essentially a shutout, really. I mean, Captive Sun, Orbital Ray, Tag Visor, you have great tools with Bishop Guilfoyle, but they're rarely in a position to use them.
And it has partially been Wildlife just in the opponent's backlines, forcing them to be in an uncomfortable situation, and that kind of lacks that kind of commitment from this roster to either say we need to deal with the Venture or we need to kind of move forward, and that's allowing Elizabethtown to find the success. The Valkyrie comes out, but they're going to try and get an aggressive situation going for them, but right now it's just so difficult having to deal with the Valkyrie plus the Pharah. It's an action that makes so little sense for their opponents. Quench out of Knight's going to be shut down. Wildlife getting fined 1. Wildlife is actually on a double, so it's a 3-for-3 as Cinnamon's able to find the res. Quench out is back into action on the point, going to be forcing this overtime even longer. The Fortify comes on out as Quench out finds 1. Pick Gum Guy going to be able to get taken off the board, as Bingling being in such an uncomfortable, precarious situation, going to be lacking any real way to find these kills, trying to get something, but everyone just ignores them until they're the last remaining player. That just shows this team's fortification when it comes to securing this point. They take down Destruct, and that's going to do it.
Plant Shooter is just running the lobby right now. There's no two ways about it. Not saying Elizabethtown are a one-man team by any means, but I think anytime this Arita is active in the fight, there's a pretty low chance Bishop Guilfoyle get anything doing. The Terra Surge feels like every time is converting kills, zoning so much base game. We take another look at this Terra Surge. Oh, sorry. Player of the game bugged right now, so it's not as cool as maybe it could be. But still, it's just exploding people anytime they're on your screen. It's crazy.
A good game for sure. The first map definitely took us a bit of a distance on the first point, but unfortunately towards that second one it was a little bit of a shutout, as you kind of said earlier, as it was 100-0. An unwavering defense being held from the side of Elizabethtown. Coming on into map number 2, Bishop Guilfoyle will get the pick, as I'm not sure if you know the map selection. I don't know the map selection, but I will try and find that for us in just 1 second. But Spectrion, I want to get your thoughts, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of options for these teams. And when it comes to what they pick, who they're going to decide on, actually, I just did find it. All right, so we are on week number 3. So Oasis was our first. They will have a Push as their next map to go to. So a little bit of an unconventional map for some teams. But as they go to it, they'll get the option of Coliseo, Esperanza, and Runasapi. No new Queen Street. Only real thing about that that matters. And I want to get your thoughts. What do we expect this Bishop Guilfoyle squad to take?
Depends on personal comforts. I would say avoid Esperanza. One ends up being weird for double hit scan, especially, right? When you want to play this double hit scan RAM, then you don't really have the mobility to fight in a lot of the points where you want to. So I would say it's between Coliseo and Runasapi, depending on preference. Generally, I'd lean a little bit more towards that Runasapi. You know, you think about it, it's got some super long sight lines where Soldier 76, where Sojourn can find a lot of value. But it's also a point where, relatively speaking, Pharah is also very strong. So you have to think about whether you back your DPS to win the 1v1 or whether you want to go somewhere where it's a little bit harder, like a Coliseo, to have that, you know, bird basically permanently in the sky.
I'd imagine, I'm going to go out on a limb here, I'm going to say they're going to pick Coliseo just because of those long sight lines. I think that the Sojourn's going to thrive, the Soldier's going to thrive, the Ramatra's going to find some level of value. I'd imagine that we're going to be seeing the same tanks from both teams. I know Plant Shatter 9 in previous years has been a bit of an Orisa one trick. I think Ramatra in general works relatively well into it, so I'd imagine they're going to want to try and stick with the same composition. Beyond that, I actually did see one of the teams in the chat, I believe it was Bishop Guilfoyle, asking if they're allowed to swap roles. So there might be actually some little bit of a contingency plan in terms of something they want to do if it does get this desperate, and maybe swap one of their supports over to the DPS, try and get a little bit of extra value on that, make somebody get onto that flex DPS role instead of running that double hit scan. I don't know if that's something they're going to opt into, but if it is, then who knows what we could see. I'd imagine that it would be the Illari player, as you know, usually you will be seeing that Illari be the player who does kind of also contest in the DPS role.
Yeah, I mean, Illari does also play very similarly fundamentally to a lot of hit scan fundamentals, right? Because at the end of the day, you kind of want to stand on kind of a soft angle, you sit back and you essentially chill. Whereas with flex DPS, where you're much more like trying to go in, out, and trying to get picks when you're super close, and then chilling for a bit once you wait for your cooldowns to come back. Map is through. It is going to be a Coliseo, so you're right in that, Cherry. And I mean, we'll see exactly what the role changes will be once we're in, but I imagine for Elizabethtown, there's no point trying to fix what simply ain't broken. Fiery has gone for a change, though, over to the Ana. We've got Silence now, and the Genji Wildlife still going to be on that kind of Venture Fire role, one has to assume. And on the other side of things, it's Destruct who's now on the support. Mighty Nate rolls out on the Bastion of all things, which is pretty good at checking the opposing tank just because you're a raw DPS, but can be a weakness for essentially everything else, especially the double dive setup that Elizabethtown have.
This was something I was expecting coming into map 1. Seeing silence on that support role was a little bit of a breath of fresh air, a bit of a question mark for me as well, wondering how is this going to play out. Moving over to the Genji, though, one of their main roles, I just kind of expect to see them with a similar level of dominance. However, now being able to be a little bit more flashy as they are on that DPS instead of the support position. We see Wildlife taking a bit of a gander over towards the enemy backline, looking to lurk their way on in. Struct already going to be falling down to the ground as Bishop Guilfoyle put into a 4v5 position, looking to equalize, but without Bingling in the cards, it really seems almost impossible.
One of the really important things when playing a mode like Push is either dying on the objective or getting out. Unfortunately, Pasty and Pet Gum Guy do neither. And so there's going to be a long while before Bishop Guilfoyle can get a refight. That means there's a lot of distance that Elizabethtown will be able to get essentially for free, right? Also, look how they're fighting for the high ground already, making it so Bishop Guilfoyle has to fight for every inch of space.
Seeing the swap, Moira with the Illari, swapping off the Juno. Personally, I was a fan of that first composition, but we'll see whether or not they'll find success on this new one. Destruct is going to be down for the count. We see Silence getting traded out. The Pulse Bomb comes in play, unable to connect. We are going to be seeing Cinnamon Bun, though, instantly taken out by Pasty, trying to get a little bit more as the are going to be dropping in the grenades. Unfortunately, won't be able to find too much as we are getting Bishop Guilfoyle taking a couple more kills. Bingling finding one. That's about all they're going to be able to find. However, as the rest of the team is going to be just a little bit of a fun situation for him.
That's forward spawns already unlocked, right? I mean, at the 8-minute mark, this is a ridiculous pace. You get the stagger onto Mighty Nate, who's long since off the Bastion. You've got an advantage of ults, especially on this Annihilation and this Nano Boost. Bishop Guilfoyle, they kind of need a magic pick, and one materializes with that pasty kill into Wildlife.
Looking like this could be poised to be able to find another team fight as Bingling is already down the HP mark and marking their targets. We're seeing Bishop Guilfoyle locked in, but unfortunately his plant shotter 9 going to drop in. Annihilation's not going to be for long. We do get the Deadeye coming into action. I don't know what I'm talking about. I heard it come, but unfortunately wouldn't be there. We are going to be getting an ultimate. However, the Terror Surge comes in, but Mighty Nate going to be able to find their success with a double kill, shutting down both supports.
I think we Nanojax. Fiery, he lost the ultimate, but I didn't see it come through at any time, so it's a bit rough. It's one of the big tools in your composition, essentially down the drain. That means silence. While the Dragon Blade doesn't have to be entirely dry, there's a whole lot of difference between a Mercy Blue Beam and a straight up Nano Boost to allow you to find value. So that is a bit of a boon here for Bishop Guilfoyle as they begin to make this comeback happen. But 110 meters down, this is going to have to be pristine from them.
Gonna look like Bishop Guilfoyle is gonna find a little bit of success getting those glimpses. But right now, the big problem is going to be that healing factor, but Bishop Guilfoyle going to be able to make up for it with the Coalescence. We do see the Tac Visor coming into action. Pacey finding one, Bingling finding a second. Elizabethtown going to drop a third player. Bishop Guilfoyle going to be able to reset the checkpoint.
That they will. That's a huge advantage now, as Elizabethtown going to have to walk back a hell of a lot further before they fight again. That really increases the time between fights and increases the distance that Bishop Guilfoyle are able to get per victory. Forcing out Wildlife so far is Pacey doing their job as the Soldier 76, but again, you do have to be a little bit scared of that Dragon Blade.
For sure, that's going to be one of the big win cons. I think that we've seen Elizabethtown having their Genji on it before. It didn't really pan out too well in map 1 on Oasis. This time it's going to be possibly a different situation as Silence will be invested into as the Resurrection comes onto him after the Orb of Destruction comes out. But we are seeing Silence. 1 gets found, 2 gets found. Both DPS are down for the count. Make it a triple, make it a quadra, as Silence going to bring this team back on into the driver's seat.
All 5 found for Silence for Elizabethtown as they regain control of the robot. Nice save, actually, because the dash actually impacts the bush, but able to still get a reset and still find the full 5 kills. Elizabethtown now, again, the Annihilation, lovely to have. Bishop Guilfoyle spent basically everything. Only a Captive Son isn't really what you want to be playing for here, so Peckham guy, onus has to be on them.
Silence getting a bit of damage onto the Symmetra, looking to secure the kill, but getting a little bit too antsy. Dropping to the ground, no deflect possible. Pacey's going to be able to pick up a kill, bringing Bishop Guilfoyle back up into a decent situation. Wildlife going to be able to limit their success to just that 1 kill, though. The Symmetra getting pushed in aggressively. The Annihilation going to refresh. This, it's not looking good as Plant Shotter 9 finds a double kill. Now we are going to be looking towards Bingling, who moves past their opponents, but right now, the Terror Surge instantly gets melted as Bishop Guilfoyle forced into another regroup.
Yeah, really not fantastic for Bishop Guilfoyle. They needed to get something going. The Terror Surge had to find something. Unfortunately, hasn't happened. Nano Boost online for Fiery. No fantastic targets for us. So curious if they're going to even lose it in this fight or wait for Silence to example, finish off that Dragon Blade. Pylon down early. Does mean Peckham guys in a somewhat struggle to find value, but Bingling has to live.
Oh, Bingling needing those heals pumped into them. The Captive Son might be something they're going to opt into, but we are going to be seeing the Vortex coming into the action. Plant Shotter 9 forced to back off at least a little bit as the Symmetra really pushed in, as well as that the Coalescence active. Looking to make something happen. The On is falling down Fiery at half HP. They do have that Nano. That's something they could invest. Wildlife going to find the first. Vortex comes out. Looking to go for a flank. There's the Pulse Bomb. Pasty down. They go for another. Silence able to pick it up. Mighty Nate's going to be able to try and get some more value, but Wildlife going to be able to close them out before it even starts. Bingling getting 1. Wildlife finishes it. Elizabethtown, 115 meters.
And increasing, but they don't really have the bodies on the objective to keep going much further, right? If there's a concerted re-push from Bishop Guilfoyle. They'll be able to clear off the point, but they are very worried, and Bingling also appearing late does mean that 126 meters now garnered. This is still a simply gargantuan lead, but it's not uncomebackable. I've seen some crazy comebacks on this map just myself. Bishop Guilfoyle going to have to make one of the craziest.
Mighty Nate's going to be able to find the opening pick. They do have the attack visor in store. That is something they want to opt into. Obviously, with Wildlife down, it's going to make it a little bit less viable, but right now they're going to invest it instantly. But right now, they just have to deal with this Ramatra, who's so aggressive. The Vortex is going to be leaving Pasty in a pretty bad situation. Pingling finds one. Pingling on a double. They want to keep on going, but it's just so difficult as Bishop Guilfoyle is going to take a massive lead. Both DPS dropping to half HP. Destruct as well can be low. Silence taking the front of this damage. They have the blade. Do they invest? Answers no. Mighty Nate finding the kill. Bingling finding another, as Elizabethtown has nobody left to really contest this game.
HP is the Tracer. Wildlife will be able to back out for now. A shot from Fiery makes it a smidgen easier. Still, obviously, increasing the distance in a second. Will be Bishop Guilfoyle trying to fight on the objective here is ill-advised for Elizabethtown, but they have such a bank of ults that losing any one may well give them back control.
Gonna be rough. We are seeing the Terror Surge instantly brought into play. The Captive Sun as well, down in the open. Silence can be able to find one. Silence on a double, bringing in the Dragon Blade. Plant Shroud gets taken off the board, but Silence is still trying to be that shining ray of hope. They go in, they have the refresh on the dash. Can they activate it? No. Spear's gonna come in, forcing out the deflect. Mini health pack has been collected. There's going to be the coalescence for another fight, but Bingling's going to be able to take down Wildlife. They're on match point, and Bishop Guilfoyle is unfaltering.
Yeah, that cart does continue to move. They're still behind, but they've done a fantastic job keeping things moving, especially after that 3 piece. Now 4 from Silence, who's just basically unstoppable on this Genji, given every resource in the game, and does find value with it. Fiery there. Drops the nano boost, by the way, mid-terror surge. Recognize that their life is going to be forfeit, but maybe by using their ultimate, they can still find some sort of value. And indeed does. Late kill on Moira, though, does mean that forward spawn is going to be taken away pretty quick. Bishop Guilfoyle won't be able to fight for a hot second, and so Elizabethtown, I mean, maybe they're cowed slightly, but they are by no means in a poor position still, and these late kills are pristine.
This is exactly what they're looking for. Elizabethtown forcing out another fight. This now is going to be a scenario where they've invested the coalescence. They won't be able to find success with this. And now they have to win almost 4 fights in a row, maybe even 5 if they want to be able to win this game. But it might be Bishop Guilfoyle just getting the door completely shut on them. As Elizabethtown, they invested their Valkyrie. They invested their Annihilation. There's no more contention for Bishop Guilfoyle. And that's going to do it. Elizabethtown takes a 2-0 decisive victory against Bishop Guilfoyle in week number 3 of the PIEA.
Wow, I mean, Elizabethtown, that was a commanding victory, I have to say. Definitely, Bishop Guilfoyle were able to make it competitive. Some lovely fight wins coming through from them. But at the end of the day, you don't full cap on a map like this. You don't even get to a lead like 126 meters without being, you know, something kind of special. So, super impressed by what we're seeing from Elizabethtown. There's a reason, as you said, they were the champions last year, and there's a reason they're still undefeated to this day. 6-0 in round score so far, and I feel like any team playing Elizabethtown area has to be absolutely terrified.
And speaking of champions last year, we are going to have one more series today. That's going to be Westmont Hilltop, the second place runners-up of last year's Division 2 season, versus Homer Center. So we'll see whether or not that game's going to be better, but I definitely agree with you. Both these two teams looked really good. We always look towards Elizabethtown with consistency. I remember 2 years ago now, they were in a decent situation where they were looking poised to be able to do well. I think they went like 7-1 or something within Division 1, but unfortunately they just fell short when it came down to the playoffs. They had a little bit of a forfeiture run to the Pine Grove Area High School, which I think that was back when they had their top 500 tank player, so you really can't expect too much better from that. But Bishop Guilfoyle as well. I mean, I definitely look towards players like Destruct, like Bingling, who were really just on the table, being that impactful way for this team to kind of find their ground, as especially Bingling on the Ramatra just looked so impactful that entire time, and they had the supports being able to keep them up. The sustainability was there for the majority of that game, so you really do just got to give props towards both these players, as well as the Soldier 76. I think they looked really good. I don't know. I saw them spraying down some players a couple times, so I really do like what I was seeing from Bishop Guilfoyle as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be able to make their marks within Division 2 as well later on in the season.
Yeah, super impressed by what we could see. I believe we're going to go to a short break, if I'm not much mistaken. But when we're back, we should have the continuation of today. So don't go anywhere, because we'll be back with our next game in a little bit.
Hello, people of the PIEA. I am Cherry J, joined once more by Spectrum. We got a phenomenal matchup for you. Westmont Hilltop versus Homer Center. A clash of titans, and we're going to get right on into the action.
Yeah, that we are. I know we had to wait a little while for that game to be ready, but now it is mostly all sorted, so we should be heading in pretty quick, generally speaking. I gotta say, for me personally, I'm excited to cast Westmont Hilltop again, a team I've been casting for a little while now, and, you know, X-Moose and Tony Zamboni especially can be very entertaining if given the opportunity to do so. So watch out for them. They could maybe be the Dangermen on this particular side. Remember, being week 3, we are going to be starting guaranteed on Oasis. After that, it is going to be losers pick on push. So keep that in mind as we watch how this map maybe unfolds. If teams end up doing anything weird you maybe wouldn't normally see, it may well be a map dependent thing. So just keep that up here in your noggin. Loading in, so we should be watching the game in a couple of seconds as well. So you don't have to stare out of the mugs anymore.
I think I'm going to give a prediction, say, to a Westmont. I think they have some strong players. They can fire on all cylinders in each role. I don't know if I've ever seen Homer Center play, so maybe they got some crazy stuff going on, but we are going to be swapping over. We see the compositions getting picked up. We do actually see a very conventional support line from both teams, which is a little bit kind of surprising. I was not expecting it. The Ana Brig is certainly a pick. I don't know about the pick, but it's a pick.
Ana Break is a relatively strong backline if you're playing into Winston, Diva, Bull. If you are playing into a Reinhardt, though, you may well find that the Brig doesn't find a lot of value. So see how long they stick on it for. Ana cooldown's always going to be incredibly impactful, but the Wu Yang is just so strong right now as we see X-Moves forced out by a single balloon.
Well, I made this idea because I kind of just wonder, right, like, how much value are you really going to be able to find on an Ana BAP or an Ana Brig in general when playing at this level? But it does seem like they are going to be able to find a lot of value out of it. It's going to be paying out dividends as they find a very convincing start to the map as they go up with 5 kills, losing 0 players.
Homer Center just explodes. There's no two ways about it. And Westman already pushing the spawn, seeing how close they can get, but decides to play a more standard line. Won't isolate, but as for now, Westman Hilltop looking very, very comfortable.
We're going to be seeing Lennon taking down the first. Peanut 645. Going to be dropping to the ground as we still see Lennon hiding in the team's backlines, developing themselves in the shadows, as we are going to be getting the Shrouded set coming through from Mini Ninja, looking to find the kill. 76 HP, Shrouded's out, and now JRT going to be able to find one. X-Moose and Lennon fire back with absolute dominance. Big Hoss going to be able to connect another as Shadow Kill is going to be down for the count. War Machine going to be staggered out for the rest of the team to have to wait behind.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of utility for the Ryan to play with this Wu Yang backline. It has a lot of damage, a lot of ability to help Shadow Kill and Mini Ninja. But War Machine himself doesn't have the speed you'd want, doesn't really have like an immortality as well. So really struggling. JRT caught on an absolute island. It's a freebie for Lennon, who's just got an isolated 1v1 as well with War Machine.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing Lennon in a 1v2 situation, dropping the ultimate, able to find out onto Peanut as they are going to be able to get another Mini Ninja down for the count. As Lennon falls, the rest of the team picks it back up. War Machine's going to be able to get another as they are down to 1 HP. Dylan's going to be able to capitalize, taking the kill off the board. Now it's leaving them in a bit of a rough situation. No tank in hand. They are going to be offline for the Earth Shatter. X-Move's going to be able to take down JRT. They're going to keep on swinging their armor away as now 90% being collected. X-Move's going to be able to take the next staggering pick as they're going very, very aggressive.
Yeah, that they are. I mean, with the DPS already dead, with War Machine stalled out, with him pinning actually away from the point. I was about to say it's all over with the crying, but X-Move's going down does make it a smidgen harder. Deadeye, however, surely has an answer for things. The shatter from War Machine is going to have to be absolutely perfect, and Westmont Hilltop aren't taking this entirely seriously, it seems. 100-0. Barely lost the fatality. Westmont Hilltop absolutely large and in charge.
On Hilltop, certainly, I'm not sure if this is the same roster from last year. I believe it's certainly all 5 players who have been at the school since last year, but I believe it is a combination of last year's D2 and D3 team. as at least I believe Lennon was on the Division 3 roster last year, coming up to playing with the roster this time. It seems as if they certainly are going to be one of the players you really look towards to be one of the anchoring spots, as they really did put up a convincing performance on this Hazard, starting us off. Tony Zamboni as well, possibly having a little bit of a slower start compared to some of these real superstars like X-Moose, like Lennon, like Big Hoss, who have just been kind of dominating the battlefield. Dylan doing their job as a main support, keeping Big Hoss alive. London's going to swap over off of the Hazard on to this Doomfist, maybe just looking to get some reps in. We'll see what they can find, as obviously there's the idea of if it's not broken, don't fix it, but this time they are going to be fixing it, moving into more of a dive composition, which you do kind of look towards as a little bit more sustainable against something like this Reinhardt. But Peanut's going to be dropping a half HP, JRT drops to the ground, and now the point is going to be opening up with the side of Westmont Hilltop already poised to take it.
Doom is fantastic at disrupting, you know, brawl comp rotation. That's exactly what we see here. Just punches into 5 people because they can't really stop him. And again, an absolute collapse for Homer Center as Westmont Hilltop continue to just win. There's no other way of describing it. Peanut does find a late kill onto Big Hoss, which does somewhat hurt the momentum. But as it's traded back, one has to ask themselves how much it really matters. Great punch onto the Wu Yang. The pin onto Lennon does knock him low, but the power block is going to give you an Empower punch with which Lennon can use to escape.
It did seem as if War Machine was very close to being able to find success. Unfortunately, not going to be the case, as they will find Dylan. That's about all they're going to get. Peanut, low HP, going to be forced back. Tony Zamboni taking Shadow Kill down for the count, as it's going to be a little bit of a Genji diff coming on into the engagement. Both teams playing very aggressive in this spawn area, but right now it's going to be the Doomfist knocking back, as they are going to be seeing Mini Ninja at least forfeiting that aggression for a little bit. 37% is being granted, and now we're seeing X-Moose FPS with the pulse bomb in hand. How much can they get? Looking like they're going to be opting in for it. They will be able to find it. No cleanse available, so Lennon finds it first, and now JRT is going to be able to take the next kill. Lennon falls, but that's about all they're going to be able to get. The pin comes in, but War Machine instantly taken down by X-Moose FPS for a double kill.
This is pretty brutal, to be honest. Westmont Hilltop are going so early. It's before Homer Center even set up. We're not even really seeing team fights, just deathmatch that Westmont Hilltop are pretty consistently coming out ahead of. Nano Blade a possibility. Tony Zamboni can go for the clip, but not sure it's going to be needed quite yet, as Homer Center once again scraps the plate.
X-Moose FPS taking down JRT, pushing in aggressively. Mini Ninja's down as well. 75% has been gathered. We do see the Earth Shatter active. Unfortunately, a little bit of a rough situation if you're on the side of Homer Center, as when you're playing up against these players who have so much insane prowess, it just becomes so difficult for you to really be able to find anything. Stuck on the car, barely able to get back onto ground, as it's going to be Shadow Kill just waiting in the back end of the alley as they find their death. Mini Ninja as well, swapping over from the Bastion over to the Reaper, going to be down, and that's Tony Zamboni popping the blade to find game number 1. Westmont Hilltop is on an absolute tear.
I mean, I don't see the stats from that game because I feel like it's going to be kind of crazy, you know? I mean, I would say probably single-digit eliminations for Homer Center, unfortunately. Westmont Hilltop are absolutely in control, and unfortunately, when you're thinking about this next map, you kind of struggle to come up with answers, right, for what you kind of do against this. The Rhine's not a bad idea in a lot of maps. For example, at King Zero, you might find it, you know, being a little bit more impactful, but especially when we're looking at the push pool, where we're looking at Ishba, Runa Sapi, and Colosseo, it don't really hit there, right? And you're not LH Cloudy, so it's going to be really tricky finding a specific use case here where you do have any sort of leg up, it feels like, on your opposition. Westmont Hilltop so commanding there. I unfortunately have to say it's hard to imagine and this is anything other than a 2-0 still. Homer Center still in the game. They're going to have to come up with something a little bit special though in the next map.
Certainly going to be rough, as they are moving on to Push, a map that relies heavily on momentum, and if you find a loss in that first fight, it can be very detrimental to bring it back. We'll see what they do opt in for. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Colosseo mirror. Maybe we'll see something different. I wouldn't be surprised if the Esperanza comes out. I do know it's kind of that tried and true right now in the PIEA map pool, but we will see what they do end up opting in for. As without the new Queen Street, there isn't really too many options that like got discarded. We'll see if there is anything crazy though.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie. I feel like we've got some new Queen Street like obsession going on here. I'm not saying the map's bad per se, but is it that good? Do you mess with new Queen Street like that? Like,
no.
For Ryan, especially, like, let's be realistic now, right? I mean, it feels like the good Ryan points are normally like hybrid Escopol, like Shambhala, as I mentioned previously, like a King's Row, the kind of thing where you have these long corridors where you can't really escape the hammer nor the earth shatter, and multiple angles can't really be taken on you. So that's what I would imagine to see. If I was Homer Center, I'd probably say I would go Esperanza, but it would not be a comfortable pick by any means.
Well, I don't think many maps would be a comfortable pick, as they were kind of held in their spawn in that last map, but we will see what they do end up opting in for. We are going to be seeing a couple swaps. War Machine moving from the tank position over towards the support line, as JRT will be taking their spot. From the tanks switching, we'll see whether or not that leads to any real differences in the game. I'd imagine it's going to be unlikely, as one swap shouldn't be able to make too much of a difference, but we are just going to be seeing... Oh, we actually are going to be seeing more swaps. Lennon and Xmoose FPS are going to be taking swaps as well. So Lennon swapping over to the DPS position. Xmoose going to be taking up their role as the tank. And, I mean, this is just nice, as you do like to see what each player has in the store. Maybe it'll just be a point for them to be able to say, hey, let's try different compositions. We are still early within this PIA season. So with a whole school year left to try new things, find comps that work, doing it early on against teams that you are confident you can beat is certainly going to be a time where it is nice. And if you're on the side of Homer Center, this is also the time to experiment. This is the time to say what works best for us, what can we mesh well with, and when you're playing against a team that is realistically not going to be too winnable, this is a good time to make that happen. So I do got to give him props for that. If you're playing I don't know, what's a good comparison? I mean, if you're Homer Center and you're playing against like Bishop Guilfoyle, then yeah, you don't want to take that chance and risk it, as we did see both teams kind of playing at a similar level, having a decent performance, just not able to close the gap right in time. So we'll see whether or not they will be able to inevitably find something that will mesh with them as we do head in onto the game. We're going to what you kind of recommended, which was the Esperanza. So Spectreon, what do we expect to see here?
I don't imagine the teams are going to go for too many changes compositionally. At the end of the day, what is always like meta, as I said before, isn't always what's meta for your team. I mean, there's plenty of Overwatch Champion Series teams even can get by playing something that's not technically optimal. For example, Genji in EMEA recently making it to LAN using Zarya Reaper. It's not good necessarily, but it works for them, and that's the only thing that matters. So if we are absolutely certain that this kind of Rhine double flex setup is what we want, then it can be played and it can be effective. However, we're not quite seeing that. The Ramattra is a little bit more flexible than the Rhine. You've got these slows, you have a bit more poke. I do think this is better, generally speaking. However, the Wrecking Ball is fantastic into comps like this. The disruption you'll find is going to be absolutely unreal. Xmoose, I mean, we might see some Skilo style balling if everything plays out as expected.
I don't think they have made it to LAN yet.
Genji?
Yeah, they still have to play Team Peps for that, because it's only top 3.
Oh, you're right.
Ah, yeah. I was like, oh my god, is there 4 teams qualifying? Because I mean, I'm a bit of a Genji fan myself, so I got super excited when you said that. But I didn't think they had. But we are going to be seeing Xmoose rolling out on the Wrecking Ball with JRT taking up position as the Ramattra. So a little bit of a difference in composition, running more of that Korean style with the very dive heavy backline and front line. London going to be able to find the first. Peanut is going to be off the board as Shadowkill looking to play aggressive, trying to find a bit of a damage towards the high ground. Not able to collect just yet, but the damage from the Wrecking Ball going to force them out. Tony Zamboni finding a double kill as it leads Xmoose FPS with another Tony Zamboni, going to be able to get even more value. JRT taking down Dylan for 1 kill, but that's about all they're going to be able to get just yet.
Yeah, they will. Westmont Hilltop, a very easy first fight for them. Lennon does get late killed by Pino, who has been, it feels like, the late killer, realistically, from Homer Center. Unfortunately, can't get much more than that, but a bright spot for sure. Something that other teams maybe need to be worried about going forward. Forced out is Mini Ninja. War Machine can't effectively heal at that range, and so that Reaper is in a bit of a pickle. Tony Zamboni puts him 6 feet under.
Certainly not going to be easy. We'll see what they can find, though, as it is just going to be another kill. Big Hoss able to get taken off the board. JRT going to find a little bit more success. Lots of players from Homer Center gathering and rallying towards the high ground, trying to force somebody out, but right now JRT is just alone on an island. Xmoose FPS is going to be the one to hit them down with a hammer. And now we are going to be seeing a triple or double, triple, maybe Tony Zamboni.
That's 3 for sure,
find
at
another
least.
one. Actually, they kill each other. Oh, that's tragic.
That's the projectile lifestyle. Already 70 meters, already forward spawns, 2 minutes in. This is the same pace we saw from that previous game. Lennon tries for a bit of a disrespect stick onto the Genji, but won't succeed. The mines, however, most certainly will. Peanut already down. The disruption absolutely there. Low HP on Shadow Kill, just 1, 2 HP, now 0. And slamming the bat, walking out of spawn. Homer Center simply not allowed to breathe.
This is disrespectful. The tank is the one doing the... You see, like, DPS players doing this sometimes if they're on a Tracer or a Sombra, but you don't get to see the tank player making that happen. Oh, that's unfortunate. A tragedy is stricken if you're on the side of Homer Center, and it's certainly seeming as if they're going to have a big problem awaiting them as Mini Ninja getting held out by Dylan on the Lifeweaver. Oh no, an absolute tragedy has been appearing, as we are going to be seeing actually both support players back in trying to hold Mini Ninja. The rest of the team going to be alone, and that might actually cost them, as we are going to be seeing the Cleanse forced out, not able to find a ton of damage. The Tree of Life does come into play. Tony Zamboni finding out on Peanut. Lennon getting the next. War Machine down. There's Mini Ninja down from Lennon, as Lennon finding a double. That's going to give them this trajectory to take this map.
Yeah, seems like it. JRT and Shadowkill both dead. This fight is over before it even really began. The Kitsune Rush finds negative value, unfortunately. Window from the spawn does give you the long sideline, but the mines, you can't even leave. The Blossom at least takes care of what Mini Ninja finding some impact, as I guess we got 2 aggro perhaps with the spawn. Okay, we just walked into the minefield, the double pulse onto the backline. It doesn't matter what Mini Ninja could do. It doesn't matter at all. Westmont Hilltop 2-0 and a 4-minute cap on this map. They're not on the board. They're spawn capping. Okay, they remembered.
We are going to be seeing this game wrapping up sooner than one would have initially expected at 5 minutes and 50 seconds. The point rearing its way into that coveted finale. But we are going to be seeing at least a little bit longer. Shadowkill activating the blade, trying to make something happen, but the shot's just not able to connect. There's going to be Big Hoss taking them offline. Tony Zamboni with the blade as well in hand. Looking like they might have tried using it, but the dash reset comes in anyway. Lennon with a double once more. 134 meters, and we're going to be seeing this wrapped up with 3 minutes. I can't read. Maybe 5, maybe 3. It's over, though. But
wow, what a game. I think the thing that almost stands out to me most is they could have capped faster, but they just like weren't on the bot half the time.
Yeah, it really was tragic.
I don't think Homer Center won a fight, unfortunately. That was it was a brutal series for them. I've been there. It sucks. Unfortunately, all you can really do is go next and hope that your mental's not too boom for it.
Well, on a positive note, at least that is going to give Spectron enough time to get to the market, buy the fruit, buy the vegetables, all that good stuff. And I think that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I feel sad now. There's no more Land of Steel to plug. That's over. That's done with. I mean, it was a great event. I didn't go. I saw a bunch of pictures, though. It looked cool. I was in the building a couple times, so I can't, like, complain or say I wasn't there, because, I mean, I've been there. I just didn't get to be there when there was, what, like 110 PCs set up or something? It was crazy. Actually, probably more than that for production. But, there was a crazy amount of stuff happening. Spectron, I know you didn't get to go because you're like, what, 10,000 miles away or something? So it's like
less, but not much.
No, it's around that. Don't worry. I did my math. The calculations were done.
Sick.
Yeah, I know. I'm just that cool,
unfortunately,
right?
I couldn't attend, but I've attended LANs before, and I can imagine how much fun it would be.
I mean, it was crazy, dude. It's like a basketball stadium, right? So it's like they just had 100 PCs set up there. It looked cool. I mean, I'll give them that much. I don't know how long it took to set up. I imagine it took a really long time. but yeah, it looked dope. I mean, yeah. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. That was a great series. That was a great series before this one as well, with a dominating win from Elizabethtown. So certainly